In today's video, I'm going to update Amazon for you. Now, in the bigger picture, everything remains the same as far as what I talked about on September 6th. This prior decline was 292.40, and then this decline ended up being very similar at 292.28, which was one of the key price relationships for support back over here on August 26th. And then we also had timing for a possible low. It showed up with the regular cycles August 26th, 28th, and it also showed up at August 29th and 30th if you use the histogram for timing. So bottom line, as long as price continues to hold above this low, the potential is for an eventual extension to the upside. And the typical upside target I have is the 1272 extension of the swing into the zone. So this gives you an example over here of how that kind of happens. It fell just short of the 1272 extension, but if you'd measured this high to this low, it gave you 2043.93 as a target. Now the actual high was just short of that. It was, well, actually 2035 area, okay? So it wasn't a perfect hit, but it rallied over $363, right? Now, does that mean that we're going to see the same exact thing this time around? No, but I am going to anticipate that possibility. Now, the other thing is, just because, I say that I like this in the bigger picture, doesn't mean that you buy it here and sit through a $50 loser, okay? There's one of the things that we talk about every day. Well, actually, I do the daily and intraday charts in Amazon every single day. And what we looked at on the way up was what might get in the way of the rally at that point. And we had the extension resistance and a 382 retracement. And if you look over here, it says high 912 to 914. So 912 to 914 was the time window to watch for a possible failure and pullback. But I was going to look at that opportunity, for a new buy entry. We actually made the high on the 12th and did come off of that area. And if you trailed up your stops, you would have been knocked out and still had some, money in the trade, right? But what about now? Well, we've now pulled back into the top end of the support on the daily chart. That comes in at the 1790 to 93 area. Now, I also ran a histogram from this last high for the next possible low, and I'll show you what that looks like. We're on top of it right here, right now. Okay, so we're in a time window for a possible resumption of the rally as we're testing this this zone on a pullback. And let me also show you how it looks on the lower time frame chart, because this is how we fine-tune entries. We go down to the lower time frame chart. You'll definitely find more swings that you can work with. And we did actually have higher support that we did test and hold at the 1792 to 96 area. Okay, so this area, it hit, it held, and then all I did was run the timing off of this last high for the next possible low. It just happened to coordinate with, the Fed meeting today, right? But we tested the key support decision into timing for low. And just to give you an idea of who that works for, if you're looking at a 1-minute chart, this is where we tested the support. Here's where we triggered an entry. Here's the moving average crossover, and then you just have to make sure you took out a prior swing high. Actually, in this case, it didn't take it out until here. But that was a buy signal with risk defined underneath that last low, right? Now, have we re-triggered for a regular swing trade yet? Well, typically I look at the aggressive swing trade trigger. It's going to be the 15-minute chart. And after testing that support, we have not yet triggered to be back in on the long side. And we have not also on the 30-minute chart. So have we triggered for an entry yet? Yes, but only for a day trade entry. Not yet for being back in full-time, unless that's the way you want to write up your trading plan. But, that's how we have to look at it. I'd always take this market from one decision to the next. When we had resistance, we knew that we had to ratchet up stops. Then when we started pulling back, we looked for new areas for possible entry. Some of the higher support was broken, but this is not, and we have time and price coming together again. So this is when I want to focus on taking new buy triggers.